Hi guys. Tonight we're going to be presenting just communication between buddy parents and peer buddies and chapters. So communication is a big issue for anything in life, but especially this, we want to make it as easy as possible, and we have just some ways to make it easier and some things that you should know about communication between your child and their peer buddy. So yeah, let's get started.
So hello, right before we get to introducing ourselves, we thought it would be great to just let you know that we're all part of the North Texas Student Advisory Board. So the North Texas Student Advisory Board, also known as the SAB, is a student-led body which is comprised of chapter leaders across the North Texas area to spread the mission of Best Buddies, promote inclusive events such as the Friendship Ball, which is coming up on the 5th of February, and the Friendship Walk in April. And we also hold leadership conferences to help educate schools and members about the ID community. So as leaders, we also work to sort of bridge the gap between the staff and student experience. And today, all of us at the SAB are working on initiatives such as social media engagement, community engagement, and so on. And today we will be presenting, today all our presenters are a part of the Parent Engagement Initiative. So our goal is to show chapters and parents how you can be involved in Best Buddies to make the most of the friendships and experience all that Best Buddies has to offer. So yeah, today we'll be sharing tips on how parents can communicate with their child's peer buddy and their Best Buddies chapter. But before we get started, we'll just introduce ourselves.
Hello all, my name is Avalyn Garlish. I am a part of the Colleyville Heritage High School chapter. I have been involved in my school's chapter for the past 3 years, and currently I serve as the junior representative. This is my first year on the Student Advisory Board, and I have enjoyed serving the greater DFW chapters and spreading our mission at Best Buddies. Like Sindhu said, I'm a part of the Parent Initiative. So our goal is to just engage parents as much as we can and, of course, bridge the gap between staff and student experience. And I'm so excited and grateful that I've been able to work with my amazing counterparts, and I'm excited for this presentation.
Hi y'all, I am Maddie McDaniel, and I'm a part of the Rockwell Heath chapter, and I'm serving as vice president this year. This is also my first year in the SAB, so new changes, very exciting. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that we all get on the SAB to make a difference in not only Best Buddies, but our region. And I'm a junior in high school this year, and I've been a part of Best Buddies for 3 years. And every year is a different year. Every year is a different experience. So I'm glad that I'm able to be here and share my experiences and everything that we have to offer in this presentation.
And hi, my name is Sindhu Kristipati. I am a senior at Liberty High School, and I serve as my chapter's treasurer. I have been a part of Best Buddies since my sophomore year, so this is my 3rd year with this organization, and I have been a peer buddy ever since I joined as well. I've had a wonderful time being a part of this organization, and I've made amazing friends at my chapter. And this is also my first year on the SAB, and I am so grateful for this opportunity. I have met so many amazing people, and I really can't wait to see what all we could accomplish together. And we also have another person on with the Parent Engagement Initiative, and he is Alex White. He's not here on the Zoom today. So Alex is a junior at JJ Pierce High School. He has been a part of Best Buddies since he was 6 years old, so he does have the most experience with the organization. And he's also the co-president of his chapter at JJ Pierce High School. And this is also his first year on the SAB. So yeah, we'll get started now.
All right, so the first point we wanted to talk about was just in broad terms communication. And what we want to encompass is how to have the best interaction with your child's peer and their chapter. So in our Best Buddies programs in high school, people can join the chapter in wanting to join a one-on-one friendship, or they can just join as an associate member. Either way, it's really important that we have engagement from all types of members. And so I just wanted to reiterate that it's important to stay in touch with your child's peer and your child's chapter all year long, especially during summer breaks, during winter breaks, during time when we don't have school and your child may not be able to see their peer or other friends that they might have in the chapter. Friendships don't cease. They don't stop when school is out, of course. Our peers will continue to see their buddy when school is out. So keep that in mind when communicating with their child's chapter and their peer, of course. Also, some chapters may hold events during the summer. And of course, we have our annual friendship walk that always comes up towards the end of the year. So things might get crazy with all the different events that we have, but it's really important to stay in touch with your child's chapter and, of course, their peer. Because most chapter events and peer interactions, of course, happen outside of school, make sure that you discuss the boundaries, which we will be discussing in a few slides. But it's really important that you just keep on top of ways of communication that you have. That might be Remind. Some schools set out email lists, just whatever form of communication your chapter utilizes. Make sure to stay in contact with everyone and always reach out to chapter leadership if you have any questions, and just keep in touch. So that's it for communication.
And so I'm just going to go over how to reach out. So it is actually your child's peer buddy's responsibility for reaching out to you. But if for some reason they haven't reached out to you first, or if there's anything going on and you want to take initiative, you can reach out first as well. So ask any chapter leader, especially the president, or any chapter advisor or sponsor for their contact information. And after you've been able to get in touch with them, determine what method of communication works best for all of you. It could be through text or call or just any other platform that works for both of you. For me personally, I reached out to my buddy's parents first via text after I got their contact information from my chapter president. And after that, the parents and my buddy were both comfortable with me just contacting my buddy. So if that works for you, you could do that, or just let your child's buddy know when you want them to communicate with you, if there's any event or if there's a hangout, and so on. There's so many different ways you could establish this. So just figure out what works for you, your child, and your child's peer buddy.
Okay, so it's having a little trouble popping up on my screen, but next we're going to be talking about boundaries. But before I get to that, I just want to again say that it is not your responsibility to have to reach out to the peer buddy. Actually, when you sign your child up or your child signs themselves up for Best Buddies, they fill out like an application. And so on the application, you provide contact information, and that is then sent out through the chapter president to every peer buddy. So they should have no problem contacting you first. But I know for me personally, my freshman year, I got really lucky and I got partnered with someone who had been in Best Buddies for 4 years at the time. And so their parents were heavily involved. And so they were able to reach out to me, and I was able to then reach out to them, and it kind of just flowed back and forth. But again, if you are having trouble getting your child's peer buddy to reach out to you, then always send a quick email to the advisor of the chapter. And I know for my school personally, our chapter advisor, he sends out an email about everything, all the events, to the parents, just so they know who it's from. It's a familiar face, it's one of their students' teachers, so it makes it really easy. And so you could always reach out to them. And then my school also, we have a Remind, so we send out information via that. There's tons of different ways. So just like Sindhu and Evelyn were saying, there's tons of different ways that you can get in contact with a peer buddy. It's honestly just kind of trial and error, seeing what works for you best, especially if you're new to Best Buddies. Just kind of figuring it out as you go. We want to make this the best possible experience for the buddy and us, the peer buddies. And so contact and communication is like key to having a really great friendship. And if you take advantage of the contact info, it can really help your child's friendship to prosper like tons and tons. I've been in both routes. I've been in where it was really easy to contact the parents and they would reach out to me. And then last year I had some trouble. It was my buddies' first time being in Best Buddies, and their parents weren't quite familiar with everything. And so I would reach out to them, but I would get no response. And so if you are getting reached out to, please make sure that you are responding. So then your peer buddy to your child can set up stuff. And like, for example, on Friday, my school is having a winter formal. And so I reached out to my peer buddy's mom and asked if it would be okay if I came over and helped her with her makeup and her hair, just something fun that we could do, even though we're going to the event together. Something to do just like that. I mean, that's what I would do. That's what I did with my friends for homecoming. I got ready with them. And so it's just, I mean, it's a friendship. So communication, again, this is what this is all about, and parent engagement. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share about that. But now getting on to boundaries. So boundaries is a big thing. Communication, obviously, like I said, is key, but giving your peer buddy a set of, boundaries or rules is like a huge deal. Again, personally, my buddies this year, her mom, they don't do sleepovers, and I'm not allowed to personally drive my buddy around, which I completely respect and I understand. But like communicating that to me is super crucial to being able to know like kind of like the box where what's okay and what's not. So a big deal is some parents, this may be you, if you want your peer buddy to be contacting you about everything and making sure everything is okay with you before they contact their peer buddy about something, or if you don't want them contacting their buddy at all, that's a big issue that doesn't really get talked about a lot, because we just we get whatever contact information you put on the application. So if that's their number or your number, sometimes that can be hard to differentiate. So making sure that they know that it's you that they're talking to, or if you want to send them your child's number or email. I know a lot of buddy pairs in my chapter, they love FaceTime, and we're always doing FaceTime groups. And so if that's something that you're comfortable with, doing FaceTime, I know not everyone is comfortable with their child being on video, and it could be vulnerable for some people. So that's one thing to really determine and decide, and just let your peer buddy know anything, even personally, if you have different views or rules that, like, just like my buddy, the no sleepovers thing, that's not necessarily something that everyone has, but that's something that she has. And I'm sure that your peer buddy will respect anything that you want to put a restriction on. And so again, like I said with my peer buddy, again, my peer buddy's mom does not want me to drive my buddy around. And so that's like a huge deal, because we have tons of events, like Avalyn was saying, especially towards the end of the year with Friendship Walk. And I know my chapter personally, we have chapter events every month. And so those are really fun to go to. And as a peer buddy, I want my buddy to be able to go to every single thing. And so if that means that I need to help drive them, and I'm allowed to do that, I've gotten permission, then I so will. So just communicating that to your peer buddy, if they're allowed to drive your child around, that's a huge deal, because obviously driving is a huge responsibility, and it takes a lot to drive. So that's a huge deal. And that's also something that, when you're getting to know your peer buddy, you don't really it's not a common question or to just say like, hey, like, I'm so excited that you're, creating this friendship with my son or daughter. By the way, you can't drive them around. It's just something that you kind of have to say, hey, I'm so excited that you are being able to create this friendship with my son or daughter. And by the way, I just have like a couple boundaries I would like to set in driving. I would personally like to drive them. That is super easy, super nice, and like that sends the message to any peer buddy. And yeah, we get it. So there's that. And then also we have all sorts of different people who are in Best Buddies, and we love that. I love the diversity of it. But outside of school, so a lot of events are outside of school time. Like they're not during school hours, and a lot of my events, they're at the school, but there's also events outside of the school at different places, like fundraisers or going to the movies or just hanging out. And so that's another thing. If you would like to come with your son or daughter when they do these things, that's completely fine. But just kind of, sending that message to the peer buddy is really important, because if you don't say anything, then we don't know. And we don't want to do anything to upset you or prevent our buddy from being able to do even more fun stuff with us. So that's definitely one thing that is also super important. And there's lots of other things that, again, you may have that's just a personal boundary that you want to tell your peer buddy, but boundaries are just, it's a huge thing in any relationship or friendship. And so yeah, I just think that that's a huge part of being engaged in your in your child's Best Buddies experience, is just letting them do their thing, but within your guidelines and what you have for them. So that's what I have about boundaries.
All right, so kind of hopping off of what Maddie said, we're going to talk specifically about driving. And now I said transportation because there are many forms of ways that you can get to events. So while I will mention driving the most, just know that there are other ways. If your child likes to take the bus or public transportation, of course, that is included in this information session. But so now we're going to move on to talking about getting to and from events or hangouts with your child and their peer. So this is mostly for, I would say, 11th through 12th grade peers or some 10th graders. Mostly not first year freshmen, I would say, have the ability to drive. But as your child and their peer continue to build their relationship, the concern of travel and transportation will come into play. So at least in my experience, when I first started driving, I was not comfortable driving my buddy around just because I didn't have enough experience. And so I communicated that with my buddy's parents, and they respected that, and they were able to give her transportation to and from places that we were going. And so kind of just talking about a different perspective is that make sure that your peer is okay with driving them places, because sometimes even if your peer can drive, they're not comfortable driving their buddy places just because of whatever circumstances may arise. And so just understanding that transportation can come in many different forms and not everyone may be able to provide that is important. So of course, this can be an iffy topic, especially considering your child's needs and the peer's experience, like I just discussed. It's really important that you are able to evaluate as a parent, what is my child comfortable with? How far is my peer planning to go? Are they going to the school? Are they going to another place? And it's also important in transportation to realize that not only how you get there, but where are you going? Are you going to, let's say, a place like the mall? Me and my buddy love to go shopping. And so over the break, we were discussing, hey, where is the safest place? Where's the best place that we can go to make sure that everyone is happy and healthy and our needs are met? And so instead of going to the mall, we decided to go to this little town square that we thought was much better. There were food options. There were places to just go shop and look around. And so it ended up being a lot better. And so along with transportation, make sure you're discussing, where are you going? And if we're going to have food, is someone going to buy that for your buddy? Do they have the ability to order for themselves? It's just really important that we discuss, in transportation, all of the aspects. And so I kind of wanted to reiterate, plan ahead and communicate the route. And that's not only, how you're going to get there, that's how long it's going to be. That's once you get there, are you going to be walking around? Are you going to be, maybe you have like some fun event that you're going to? So just a lot for that time. And also just make sure you stay in communication. You can give a heads up text like, hey, just wanted to make sure everything's going well. I would really appreciate it if my buddy's parents did that, just because it shows that you have a relationship and a connection with them, that they care about not only their child's safety, but about your safety. And so if the event is school sponsored or chapter sponsored, make sure to ask the advisor or student leaders about transportation options. In some cases, and at least at my school, we have our officers carpool buddies to the events. And if their peers can't drive, we try to kit those people with people that can drive. And so it's just a matter of, again, communication and making sure that you are aware, like, okay, this person's driving my child. Is this okay with me? If you know the person, it's just really important that you are in control of what's going on with your child. Letting them have the independence is really important, but I also think it's important to be solid in your understanding of where they're going, how long it'll be, what's going to be the mode of transportation. And so that's just a really important point that I wanted to make. And we'll move on to the next slide. Thank you.
And also communication with your child's Best Buddies chapter. So right now we've been talking about how to get in touch with your child's peer buddy, but it's also really important that you're able to contact your child's chapter as well, just to be aware of all the activities and the important dates. And especially now with everything going on, it's really important that you can stay up to date with all the events going on, especially like, the friendship ball is coming up and things like that. So if you're constantly in touch with your child's chapter, you can always figure out what is happening if an event is canceled, being rescheduled, and so on. And if a chapter has specific channels they use to communicate, for us it's Remind and email, but some chapters also have a GroupMe or Facebook or some other social media platforms that they use to convey information. So just make sure you regularly check them and stay up to date. And also feel free to ask questions. So if you ever have any concerns, questions, or simply just need any clarification, please reach out to the officers and sponsors. They will help you out. And also one more thing, if your contact information or the channel of communication that you use changes or maybe gets deleted or something like that happens, please reach out and update your child's chapter with the new contact information or how else they could contact you and so on, so just so you could get all the information you need.
All right. Now moving on to opportunities. So this is a little bit about how we kind of touched on communication between you and the peer buddy, you and the advisor, you and the leadership board at your chapter, and all those things are super important. But with parent engagement comes actual parent engagement in the events. And so if this is something that you're interested in, these are some ways that you can be involved. And this also, by you being involved, it helps you to better know your chapter, better to know your advisors, and better to know not only the peer buddies that are going to be creating friendships with your child, but also the people in their classes and the people that they're surrounding themselves with daily. So there are lots of ways that you can help in volunteering in the chapter. So donations are a huge help. I know a lot of parents for my chapter, they're always willing to donate waters or sodas or just like little individual snack bags, or sometimes we need we're having a dance coming up this Friday for my chapter, and so like we needed a ring light to do a photo booth, and so a parent offered to supply that. And so just things even that you could bring to like loan, that's awesome. And that helps run the events better and make that better. And it all around makes your child have a better experience in Best Buddies, and a better experience for everyone who's involved in the club, which is our goal. We want everyone to, not only feel included, but have a good time. And so that's a big deal. And then also, if sometimes we need extra help just running the events. I know every chapter has some form of a match party. And so that's a huge deal. So my chapter personally, we do kind of like a homecoming proposal. We make a poster and we ask our buddies to be our buddy. And so that's like a really cool thing. So let's say that you can help out with making posters for the kids who don't have access to supplies, or let's say they just you're really artistic and creative and you just like to make posters, like there you go, there's an opportunity. So there's just little small things like that. And also kind of what Avalyn was saying about her officers carpooling buddies around to events. Transportation can be a huge issue for a lot of buddies. Just the only reason that they can't come to an event is because they just don't have a way to get there or get home. And so by you being a parent, and especially if your child's friends, just offering to carpool, that's a huge deal. And offer rides home, so then your child gets a better experience with their friends, and their friends get to come and enjoy the event too. So that's a big deal that you can, just little things that you can be a part of. And so if you prefer to be with your child at all these events, that's another way that you can be there. And if you want to be there at the events with the child, just to be there, there's always little like tasks that we need help with. And to run an event it's not a huge deal, but it is a deal. And so it literally, anything that you can do to help us out, we appreciate, and it better involves your engagement in the club. So yeah, that's what I have. Thank you.
And finally, we have, sorry.
Ready, go.
We just have short buddy testimonials, just them talking about what they enjoy doing with the club. Maybe it'll give you some ideas on how you might in the future be able to help out, or just anything like that. So yeah, we have a few short buddy testimonials. So yeah, I'll just play them.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm in 10th grade. What's your favorite part about being in Best Buddies? Just hanging out with my friends. What's your favorite thing to do with your buddies? Probably just go shopping and go and do some fun stuff with them. Just hanging out with them, being around them. Do you love being at Best Buddies in school? Like, do you love being in the art class and the PE class? Good job, Maha.
Hi, my name is Mr. Christopher. I look at HHS.
You go to CHHS?
Yes.
Ben, what's your favorite part about being in Best Buddies?
My best is to go from chill with Grace, my girlfriend.
You get to go to cheer with Grace.
Yeah.
Do you like being in the art and the PE class?
Yes.
What's your favorite thing to go do with your buddy?
My best is Jonah.
Jonah. Jonah, you want to say hi? Then you love being in Best Buddies?
I love Best Buddies.
Love Best Buddies. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Jonah. I'm from high school. This Best Buddies?
Best Buddies. Do you love Best Buddies,
Yes,
Jonah?
I do.
What's your favorite part about Best Buddies?
I love being nice, friendly,
Nice and friendly.
and I like having sweet girlfriends.
What? You like hanging out with your friends?
Yep.
What's your favorite thing to do with your buddy?
I like going to my buddies.
Yeah, you like hanging out with your buddies?
Yep.
What's your favorite part about being in Best Buddies?
I like being big tellers.
Big Time Rush.
Yep.
You get to dance and party with your friends.
Yep.
Yeah, you love our chapter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have this big time lunch party. Look.
Big Time Rush party. We had a surprise
Us.
party for you, right, Jonah?
Yes. Us cool album release party.
Mm-hmm.
And Sweet Selling big time lunch album.
Big Time Rush album. You
Yes.
want to tell them about your surprise party?
And that cool this random open surprise party. And
Mhm.
I got my birthday cake. I got candles.
Yeah, all your buddies plan this for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you love Best Buddies?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, good job, Jonah. High five.
It's Kendall.
Yeah, yeah, Kendall.
So yeah, that's it. So if you have any, oh sorry.
Ready, go.
So,
Yeah, she put it out on.
oh my gosh,
I
sorry.
was trying to see that it wouldn't spin that far. So when I got it, it spin.
Sorry about that. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them and we'll get them answered.
All right. Oh, thank you very much for the presentation, guys. There's like an echo, so I'm going to stop recording.